Hey guys, it's me. Oh, you probably don't recognize me. See, it's Mr. Prince. Um, I thought I would not wear a hat while I talk with you about an exemplar that I put up on Google Classroom. It's an iSearch paper from a couple years ago. It's pretty good. I thought as you're writing your draft, it might be helpful as you kind of to visualize what a pretty good iSearch looks like. It really flows from one topic to the next really well. And that can be the hardest thing to do as you're moving from your notes to actual paragraphs. So I put up a screencast of me kind of going through it and talking through it that I thought might be helpful for you. So go ahead and use that video if you like, and email me, of course, if you have problems. You can try that Remind app if you've logged into it. I get that as an alert on my phone. It's actually a little faster for me than email. This might be a better way for us to communicate during this, however long it's going to be. If it's going to be 2 weeks out, if it's going to be 3 weeks out, that Remind app, the reason why I'm having it set up is because it comes to my phone. So I get a little butt vibration when you need some help, as opposed to me having to go back to my email, click on it, check on it. I'm not great at doing that every minute of the day. It can be hours before I check my email. So go ahead and we'll figure this out, but use the resource if you like. The first thing you might notice about this exemplar, it's got a title page. You don't have to worry about that today. If you want to, you could work on that. It looks like this. Here's the title, roughly centered with the name, your name, and then the information at the bottom. That would be the MLA information that would normally appear in the top left corner of a normal paper, but on a especially long MLA paper with a title page, that information goes at the bottom here. This is obviously not today, 30 March 2013. Put the correct date of when the piece is due. So that should at least read 2020, and then whatever day that you're handing that in. That will be a checkpoint for next week, so we can talk about that later. But what you'll notice on this iSearch is, okay, we've got, and for the draft, I don't want to worry too much about formatting, so I'm just going to talk about big ideas. The first paragraph, it really is a funnel. This title of the article is "How Are We Affected by Music?" It's really the research question. You can have a better title than that. You can use your research question. It's not super exciting, but it'll work. You're starting your piece. You're starting your introduction with a funnel. Remember, we've been doing this all year long. A funnel, a big idea. Music is a basic part of human life. It's been around for as long as anyone can know, and it grows and develops the longer time goes on. This doesn't say anything about how it affects us. It's just talking big ideas, why a reader needs to care about this paper, this topic. Well, it's a basic part of human life, man. It's been around forever, man. So you're trying to convince your reader in your funnel that it's an important topic. That's why you're starting big and working down more narrow. Now, unlike some of the other papers that we've written, you don't really have a thesis at the very end of this. This iSearch paper is not specifically thesis driven. You don't have to prove anything. You're exploring your topic. So at the end of your funnel intro, and maybe your intro is more than one paragraph, but at the end of your introduction, you're going to want to transition to your first big idea, your first big subtopic, where you think you need to start with the actual information. This person says, there are certainly many more parts of our bodies that are affected psychologically and physically. I know that, from what came before, that music affects our bodies, it affects our emotions, and there are parts of our bodies that it affects psychologically and physically. This is where we're going. I expect to hear about the body a little bit. Eventually, I'm sure that we'll hear about emotions, but I expect to quickly, early on, start about the body. Our first topic sentence of the first body paragraph. As of right now, scientists aren't sure how music and the brain work together exactly yet. There are still many mysteries surrounding where music is processed and how it benefits our brains and bodies. So we've established what this paragraph is going to be about. I haven't read this in a long time, but I know what's going to be in it because it's a good topic sentence. This topic sentence shows that this paragraph will be about how music and the brain work together. Even though it's unsettled science, we will learn a little bit about music and the brain. So I'm looking down, I'm looking from a distance. Whoa, there's my distance. And I'm seeing citation, 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 citation. Look at that. 4 different citations in the first paragraph. They're all from different sources. This makes me happy. This is a true synthesis. By synthesis, I mean we're taking sources from multiple places that all kind of sort of talk about the same general idea, and we're putting them together in our way. This paragraph is about music and the brain, and it's assembled in only the way that the student could assemble it. They found sources, multiple sources, 4 different sources in this case, and combined them to make a paragraph that flows, all about music and the brain. Now, I know if let's see if these sources are cited properly. That one says Stewart. If I go to the works cited page, there it is. Everything's alphabetical, so Stewart's going to be near the end. There it is, Stewart. Kelly Stewart, wow. And here is the whole title of the source, How Music Affects Emotion, Intelligence, and Health. There it is. That's what it's called. I don't care. I'm not going to go read it now, but if I wanted to, I could. We're seeing Hampton. We're seeing Guidos. Let's see if those are there in the works cited page. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, there's Guidos. And there's Hampton. So we can find out where these came from. We can find out more information about those sources if we want. The point is they are cited correctly. Those are authors' last names that are cited here. These are paraphrases. So each of these sources talked about a fact that was not common knowledge. For instance, this one says the right side of the brain is where melodies are triggered and where music and the arts are associated. I didn't know that. I don't think that's common knowledge. The author of the paper knew that it wasn't common knowledge, so even though it's not a direct quote, they gave the author a citation to show that this specific information came from this person. This specific information, activating millions of neurons, came from this person's article, etc., etc. So you need to cite sources even when you paraphrase. It's not just about giving credit to the exact language, but it's giving credit to the ideas that the author has put forward. So you always cite a direct quote. You always cite a statistic or a fact, and you always cite a paraphrase if the information is not common knowledge, if it's difficult to find, if it's only specialized information. So this paper goes on. It's got a nice transition here. Listening to and playing music doesn't only affect our brains, but also has many benefits for it as well. I don't love that sentence, but it does transition from this idea to this idea. For a draft, it's a great way to transition to a new idea, to maybe a new subtopic, but it could be smoothed out a little bit. We're finding all kinds of information as we go through. Yes, yes, yes. Lots of citations throughout, lots of different sources being used, and not a whole lot of direct quotes in this document. You might have more in your paper. You might have more direct quotes in your paper. I like direct quotes, particularly when they are when there's a piece of information that's said in an interesting way. The word phrasing is evocative language, or it's very difficult to paraphrase. Throw in a direct quote. Go ahead and let that quote be speak for itself. You know how to set it up. Be sure if you're going to use a quote, you prepare for the quote, and then you explore the quote afterwards. Those quote sandwiches we've been talking about for so long. But this one doesn't have very many direct quotes. I'd say it would help to have a few more. No more than 15% of your paper should be direct quotes. It starts to look like somebody else's writing if you use too many quotes. But to mix it up a little bit would be helpful. And you can always use a indented quote, remember, if it's more than 3 lines long. Yes. We have voice in this paper. It's pretty much academic voice throughout. Right through here, where'd it go? I listen to it. This is your I search. You're allowed to be in it a little bit. You do want to keep it academic voice. Don't talk about like, I decided to research this. I decided to interview that person. That's not important. That's, keep yourself out of it in that way. But here, to transition to this idea of dissonance, they wanted to talk about dissonance, this author did. So to get into that, they told a personal anecdote. Now we're on page 5 here. This person has earned a right to be part of this because we've established this person is starting to be an expert. They really have been communicating, synthesizing other people's ideas in the profession, and they've earned the right to use the first person pronoun if they want to. And they do. Not everybody feels the same emotions when they listen to songs. To one person, a song may make them happy, but to another, the same song may sound medicine and just give them a creepy feeling. Not too personal yet, but then there's one song I love that has a lot of memories attached and makes me feel sad every time I listen to it. But one of my friends' feels like the way it sounds is like a nightmare. Dissonance can create feelings of unpleasantness. If someone has never heard a song before, the key and sound of the music can evoke different emotions from them. For instance, major keys and rapid tempos generally cause a person to feel happiness, while minor keys and slow tempos can cause a person to feel sad. I think that isn't as common knowledge as this author thinks it is. And so I want to see some citations, a little more citations in there. It's arguable. You could probably argue that you don't need it, but I'd definitely rather see you have the citation and not need it than to need it and not have it. And now as we go down through, oh look, finally a citation that's not from a source with an author. Is music a ... So it's in quotations within the parentheses. That means it's an article. Is music a, B, C, D, E, F, G. Here it is. Is music a universal language is what we're going for. There's the rest of the title. No problem. It's good to abbreviate titles. Is music a universal language is an awful darn big citation. Where was I? And so to abridge it is a good idea. I can't find where I was. Where was I? Here we go. In this case, you probably want to close the quotes. No, I'm the teacher. You definitely want to close the quotes. Is music a ... Yes, abridge the citation, but close the quotes. That way we know that it is fully an enclosed title. So have fun reading this one. Just sort of skim through it, see how it flows. I think the reason why I put it up here was so that you could see how an iSearch should sound. It's fairly well written. It moves straight through. It doesn't feel like a list of facts. Instead, it feels like a strong synthesis of ideas. This author knows what they're talking about. They have lived with this topic for a long time. So when this author moves from one note card to the next, from one idea to the next, from one subtopic to the next, it's pretty smooth. And that's what you really want in your paper. It's only 7 pages long. That's a little bit on the short side, but hey, it works really well as a paper. It's a good, solid iSearch paper. So if you're having trouble envisioning what the iSearch should look like as you write it, go ahead and peruse this one.